So I want to show you why I think this power station is one of the greatest inventions for guitar of all time. That's electric guitar. Now every amp has its sweet spot, and that sweet spot for me might be around 6, 7, or 8, might be 4 or 5, but it's always at a particular volume that's not necessarily practical to the situation you're in. It's often too loud for your family in the next room, or too loud for the drummer and the singer on stage. Now this is not a sponsored video, I just think it's a great thing, and it actually sounds better than anything that imitates it. And you know me, I like to use modelers and profilers. Any tool is great, but I really like the sound of a real amp through a microphone. And Pete Thorn and I did videos on this a few years ago, and we found that even at conversational level, it almost sounded better in some ways than at blast level when you turned your Marshall down through this. It sounds a little different, but almost sounds better. So I chose this 57 reissue Fender Champ amp for a reason. It's a 5-watt amp, and I have never, ever been able to get a good sound out of an amp like this. I applaud those who do, and I do agree it gets kind of a flute-like clean tone when you have it turned down. So I'm using an amp that's unusable for me, and I'm working with an amp that's unworkable for me. So as you listen, I want you to realize the reason I'm using it with the power station is to present the biggest challenge and see if the power station can make it work. It also has no tone knob, and I can shape the tone with this thing. It's got some good switches and good knobs, not too complex, just simple enough to brighten it if you need to, or take away too much bottom end if you need to. Now, most of us, we need to adjust the volume of our amps to the situation we're in. And in the case of a live gig, you're often too loud. You want to turn your fantastic Marshall down. This will do that, but it'll also turn up an amp that's not loud enough. And that's what I'm going to show you with this. Now here, I'm using it through a 212, and I have 2 microphones on it, a Roswell cab mic and a 57. And they sound really good through this. They're both inexpensive mics. Any combo amp you have, this could go between the amp and the speakers, and that works great. Or if you have a massive Soldano or a diesel, you can put it through the amp and the 412 and it'll still sound great. I have the sweet spot identified on this amp as between 3 and 4. If I take it above that, it gets kind of a papery distortion. So I like the edge of breakup on this amp, which really happens when it's turned down. So what I'm going to do now, I have a pedal board up here, and rather than turn up this amp to get distortion, because I don't like the character of it, leave it at its sweet spot, and this is where the magic happens, I think. I'm going to turn on a pedal, the Karma, and just a little drive pedal in front of it. To me, it makes the most out of this little amp. Now, another thing this unit has, it has impedance matching on the back. This is a 4 ohm output, so I've got it clicked to that. And then it's going into an 8 ohm cabinet, so I've got that choice made. And it's got a bypass button, and a lot of the other products that have imitated this don't have this. So now let's hear the effects loop, okay? Got the delay on. You hear how clean it is? But it's warm. It reminds me of the best studio delays off the console. You never hear that distortion grinding against itself. Okay, now I'll add reverb. Okay, now a wobble effect. So here's the 57 Fender Champ reissue. It has one knob. It wasn't quite bright enough, so I added brightness with the presence knob and the bright switch on the power station, and it worked. I just pull out the speaker right here, the speaker cable, the jack, plugged in this cable, and then this goes out to my 212. There's the effects loop, and there are the impedance switches side by side, a couple of line out options. I'm about to try the Marshall. Let's see if we can see that lay down transformer. Yep, there it is. 68 Marshall. Okay, moving on to the Andy Wood Sir Telly. Really love this guitar. And then the pedal board, I used one pedal to get more push, and it was the Karma ODR 10. Guys, if you want to support this channel, click the link below for the free lessons with tabs and jam tracks, or take the 14-day free trial in the Masterclass and see if it's right for you. Okay, so now we're dealing with a different beast. This is a 1968 100-watt Plexi Marshall. And these amps sound great set clean. They distort, but more in a late 60s kind of way. It's not super high gain distortion. And it's been my favorite sound most of my life. Have it set pretty clean right now. But it's the kind of clean where there's edge of breakup, and if I pick hard, I get more gain out of it. Go to the bridge pickup. And if I want more gain, it sounds great with the pedal. Fire it up. Here we go. Kind of makes you want to play forever. So let me turn the pedal off, go back to the cleaner tone, and like I said, you go to the neck pickup, and you can get kind of clean. But it has that dynamic range and that pop and that bloom that tube amps have. And part of that, so you're going from this tube amp into the power station, which is a tube amp also. It's a 50-watt tube amp. And a lot of the stuff that's come out that kind of emulates and imitates the power station is solid state. Those sound great too, but this is very warm. You can really hear it when you turn up the volume. It's just tube warmth 100% of the time. And referencing the old videos that Pete Thorn and I did, we actually kind of really tested it at all different volumes. And we found that when you turned it down, it did sound a little different sometimes, but sometimes that different sound was a better sound. So check those links below and look at these old videos where we really tested it with mic pre's, and we both came to the same conclusion. So when I talk about this being affordable, I realize that it's not affordable in the range of $200 or $300. It is affordable in the sense that it costs less than most amps you would buy, and it is the kind of thing that I think you would use kind of forever. And I like to find gear that's that way. I have certain pieces of gear that I use my whole life. This might be that. We'll see. It's certainly stood the test of many years at this point. And like I said, this is not a sponsored video. I know Steve Fryette, who makes this, and I believe this is one of the best inventions ever for electric guitar. So that's why I'm using it in this video and showing it to you. Luckily, it's the members of the Masterclass that support this channel and the ability for me to buy these pieces of gear and use them and show them to you. So I get to come from a pretty honest place on this stuff. Anyway, it's great for taming this wild beast. This has a bypass button because you can always check out what it sounds like without it. But in this case, you'll hear how loud the amp is. So now let me put on some delay and reverb because maybe we've earned it. Hey guys, a lot of the time YouTube will bring you my videos even though you're not subscribed. If you get the chance, click this subscribe button and ring the bell.